When it comes to first aid and safety giveaways that leave a lasting impression, there's one name you can trust: Safety Made. Looking for fast turnaround? Safety Made offers deep inventory and quick production times to keep your project on schedule. Want something truly memorable? Customize any of our first aid kits to create a unique gift that showcases your brand. Need it fast? Rush service is available for those last-minute opportunities and tight deadlines. And every kit is packed with trusted brand name components, delivering quality and confidence your customers will appreciate. Safety Made, your trusted source for first aid kits in the promotional products market. Visit Safety Made today and make safety your next great promotion.
Hello and welcome to Promo Perspectives. My name is Nicole Cook. I'm your host for today, and today I am joined by my friend, Chris Jordan, who is on our distributor sales team. Chris, go ahead and say hello and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Chris Jordan. I'm distributor sales here at Sage. Been here going on for 5 years, and excited to talk to you guys about company stores and hopefully shed some new information for you.
Awesome. Yes, we are about to dive in deep, talking all things about stores. And obviously, you've come on the podcast and talked about stores before. So we're really kind of like bringing this conversation back around because it's been a while since we talked about it last. And I feel like there's some new things that we can cover. So without further ado, let's just dive into some of the questions that I have, which is, first of all, a quick refresher. What is a store? If someone is listening and doesn't know.
So a store is basically it's a dedicated website that has curated products for a cause, an event, for a particular company. Basically, a place where you just need specialized products that are supported by or represent a certain brand, and you want them all in one place for people to access.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like stores have kind of evolved. Like, how have you kind of seen stores evolve with distributors over
Oh
the
yeah,
years?
they're super popular now.
Hmm.
Like people are actually looking for reasons to find a store. They're wanting to be educated even before having a store, so they
Hmm.
can find those opportunities because they see other distributors with them, and they from watching um, Primo Live and different things. They're getting to hear different stories about
Hmm.
stores, and so um, you're seeing a lot of companies asking for them, um, and people are getting really creative with them too. So there's a lot of different ways you can use them. So instead of it just being simple, hey, we just have these products, and all the employees go and access them. They're like, hey, we need we're doing awards, and we want
Hmm.
all of these certain employees to pick out the products they what they want.
Yeah.
So people find every reason to do them. So
Have you seen any like creative use cases for how people are been implementing stores, especially if they're people are kind of asking for them before their customers are?
yeah, I actually just had have a customer just recently purchased a store to create his own demo store so he can pitch
Mm.
stores.
Oh,
So
that's
he
cool.
paid for a store. He's like, hey, we want our own store first, just as a demo, and we can kind of build the
Uh-huh.
way we think our clients are going to like it, and then we'll use that as our sample to other clients for them to actually buy stores. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I've seen some distributors, if they sort of, let's just say they have a certain line um that they're selling, and they're like, um it doesn't, the showroom doesn't do it justice. Let me add it, let me put it all in the store,
Hmm.
to kind of have it. So especially if they're like making signage, or some companies, they'll be selling cannabis or something if they're in California or things like that,
Hmm.
um or not selling it, but they'll have a promo for it, and they just want to tailor to a
Right.
specific audience. So
Yeah. I feel like another like type of store I've been hearing about lately is a pop-up store. And I feel like that's just been like a buzzword that's kind of started in the industry recently. So, what's kind of your take on what a pop-up store even is and when it might make sense to use one?
yeah, I would say pop-up stores are probably the majority of stores,
Mm.
because for a distributor, it comes down uh, to just meeting minimums. It doesn't matter really. Well, all the distributors care about is, the size of orders they're placing with the suppliers. They just want to meet
Mhm.
that minimum. If you can't do it with the ongoing store, you can do it at the pop-up store. And one of the motivations with that, it kind of helps everybody. It motivates if you're trying to get people to tell you their sizes and colors they want,
Mm-hmm.
it puts them on, a timeline. So you get all those orders in.
Mm-hmm.
It creates structure those orders rather than having it ongoing. And if you're a procrastinator, like me or
Yeah.
a lot of us, you wait till you'll never do it,
Yeah.
and if you're the marketer that's trying to collect these orders, you're driving yourself crazy because you're like, would you please do it? But again,
Yeah.
if you say like, hey, it's 2 weeks to collect these orders, um, the distributor loves it because they know that, hey, the amount of orders that they're supposed to receive is going to meet the minimums for the supplier,
Right.
and everyone's happy. So
Yeah. And we use stores like even internally, and you could consider our employee store almost a pop-up store whenever we have to get apparel for Expo every year. Like that's a limited time that window
yeah,
that we have to go use one of our stores.
yeah, and you don't want to miss that window.
No, that's true. If anybody sees us at Expo in the wrong outfit, then they know that we did not order on time.
Quick story. I remember I was walking to the booth and I had the wrong shirt on and I freaked out and I was like, I knew I'll place the order with that shirt,
Yeah.
shirt. And so like I'm like sweating, right? And I'm going back on my emails and I'm at my phone. I'm like, okay, and then sure enough, I get back to my hotel room and I have this shirt. It's just under my jacket,
Uh,
another shirt, and I'm
yeah.
like, whoo.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the cool thing about those two is, I think for distributors to know is the great thing about stores is if you want a sure way to make sure that like your employees or the people that need those products get the right thing,
Hmm.
and that's it. And then also too, it creates brand consistency,
Yep.
especially if like a franchise you have multiple locations. Like, that's one of the biggest pain points that's solved, especially for really big companies. So
Yep. Totally agree. And are there any, like, I feel like, you know, employee uniforms and things like that are a program that makes sense. Are there any other programs that work especially well as stores or even limited time stores?
yeah, like one of the programs that I just talked to someone yesterday about is giving employee credits, them to
Mm,
access the stores. So I look at marketing as both internal marketing for a company as well as external, right? And so one of the things that companies do using stores is to keep the culture engaged with the brand
hmm.
and getting employees, because sometimes the way to get the store like moving and get it going is by offering incentives for employees to access it. So um, so them getting having money to spend and say, hey, you have 150 bucks to spend by the end of the year, but you have access to the store, has been that's just a recent case that's just
Hmm.
like, it's not for anything special. It's just for
Right.
employee engagement.
Yeah.
So and nothing strokes an ego of a business owner than seeing, his employees wearing or her employees wearing,
Yeah.
rocking the brand. So
Yeah, that's so true. Do you have any other examples of like successful or interesting store stories that you've seen or worked with or know of other people's that they've worked with?
yeah, so one of the most popular stores is type of store is like when you deal with like healthcare. That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the biggest industries, health networks, scrubs, central, so having a central place for people to get what they need, um, is awesome, because you gotta sometimes the more successful store is the bigger the problem that's solving,
Yep.
right? So you think about doctors and nurses and things and divisions. If there's turnover, people come in and coming out, they need to get their right scrubs with their name on and all that. And having one central place where it's going to be consistent with everything else. And that solves a huge problem, right? For
Yeah.
that the thing. So what happens is I've seen that becomes some of the most successful things is like, if you're solving levels deep. And also too, I think success too is also too just keeping a customer.
Yeah.
Um, when you do a store for a customer, you lock them in; they're not going anywhere. So that's success in itself. because, distributors know that, you're not the only one that's knocking on doors or trying to get your customers business. Even if you think they're
Yeah.
loyal, there's someone that's still trying to get the business. And if you have a store with them, you can call it success that, they're still spending, $100,000 a year with you the next
Yep.
year because, they're not having emailing and saying, hey, I want the same order again, but they're saying, hey, you
Yeah.
know what, let's go to our website and click what we need. So,
Yeah. I guess for anybody who's listening and they're maybe not convinced on what a benefit to a store is, like, what else would you tell them? Like, why is it beneficial to be able to offer that to their customers?
a really huge benefit, and I think this is one that this speaks to your customer, and I think really understanding your customer and their line of work. Well, where for distributor, your focus is to sell products and to sell products, right?
Hmm.
Your customer is they are often they're running a business, or if they're a marketer, usually a lot of times the people who are in charge of buying the promo and apparel. That's one of many hats they're wearing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of many hats they're wearing. Sometimes they don't even know that it's possible to have a store. Okay.
Right. Right. That's
Um,
true.
and so one of the things you to consider is you're solving a huge problem by offering them a store because you may not realize because they're probably not going to tell you because they think it's normal
Hmm.
to walk around with a clipboard. Remember those?
Right.
I think they
Yeah.
might use iPads now, like tablets now, but to walk around a clipboard around the office and have to try to track down everyone's
Yep.
information, and then, but no one's ever, you've got these people who are not in the office all the time, and you're like, and that takes hours out of the day. It loses productivity. And then you hope that, you don't misplace your clipboard
Right.
or like me, like spill a coffee on it and
Yeah.
then you got to
Also
do it all
that.
over again.
Yes.
So 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 one of the benefits is you will find that you save your customers a lot of time. And
Mm.
sometimes the bigger the organization you're working with, maybe the more time you're saving them. And so it's worth asking that question and just finding
Yeah.
out what's their process for capturing those orders because they're always, I mean, big companies are always doing branding. I mean,
Right.
they're always doing it. And so they may not be doing it with you. And so sometimes to win the
Mm.
business is just to offer saying, hey, what's your process like for getting your employees those polos? Like, what's that look like? Or you start kind of diving in, but you're selling before you're even selling, but you're asking these
Right.
questions and find out that, wow, so you're telling me it takes you about a couple months to get all those
Mm.
orders in and you got to place them. What if I built you a website where you can tell all your employees,
Yep.
hey, you got 2 weeks to place your size and orders, and then you'll have it to you.
Yeah. It's true. It is interesting to think about that. It really is like a unique selling point for a distributor to be able to offer that because to your point, these companies are doing it anyway. So you want to be the person that's offering it to them versus having them go somewhere else, not with you. So
And if you're a company, you have multiple locations, like you want
yeah,
consist, you want you have a set of brand guidelines, and the less interpretations of it, the better, more consistent it is, right? So if you have one distributor that's handling all of it for 5 locations, whether it's restaurants or health network or dental offices or things like
hmm,
that, you all have this gathering, this annual conference, this annual event. How embarrassing is everyone shows up in every color, every office is a different
right.
shade of red or a different size logo or something like, or they get some. It's like, that's probably not what you want. But if you just have it
Hmm.
one central place where everyone shows up the same, and you don't have to, it just doesn't have to be something you have to really put energy to because you have someone that gets you and knows your business. So,
Yep. Is there anything else about stores or Sage stores that you would want to let people know before we wrap up our podcast today?
yeah. So I guess one of the things to know about stores and Sage stores is that every store is different. Okay. Let's just talk about it. The even if you think it's a store, it's a store opportunity, it's not guaranteed, but it's guaranteed if you don't. It's not guaranteed if you don't talk about it. So
Hmm.
what we do is understand you're advisors at Sage. We work with a lot of different a lot of different distributors. We've worked with countless different store situations. Every store is different. Um, I mean, surprise us. Surprise
Yeah.
us, like there's no silver bullet out there. There's no perfect store, so there's always going to be something that that you may have to work around. But at the end of the
Hmm.
day, is oftentimes the benefit outweighs, um, any sort of extra work that requires
Yeah.
with it. And lastly, too, is that stores do require a little bit of work. So um, the payoff is worth it. So just understand that
Hmm.
the hardest part is just setting up the store. If you're hearing me, listen, when you set up a store, just commit to just being a part of the process. The more involved you are setting it up, the easier it is. And then two, we can make sure that it runs the way you need to. And then when you place your orders, everything, the reporting you need, it all lines up exactly so you can multiply these stores. So just talk with us. We'll guide you. We'll make it easy as possible for you. And then and is hoping that it becomes a successful asset to you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today and talking about Sage Stores. If anybody wants to get connected or get started, reach out to your Sage account advisor. They can hook you up. They'll go through all of the things, what Chris talked about and more, to make sure that, to his point, you're going to be as successful as possible. So hit them up.
I love it.
All right. Well, we will see you guys all back for our next episode of Promo Perspectives.